In the not-so-distant future, Earth had become a pariah in the cosmic community. Just a few years after the world grappled with COVID-19, humanity found itself labeled as a dangerous species. The universe had taken notice of how resilient humans were, and that resilience was now seen as a threat. Aliens from various planets convened to discuss the growing menace that was Earth. Picture this: a galactic council chamber filled with representatives from different worlds. There's Zorblax, a gelatinous being from the planet Squidron, who has an unsettling fondness for human memes. Then there's Grook, a towering figure from the rocky planet of Kragthar, whose voice rumbles like an earthquake. They're all gathered to discuss the human problem. Look at them, Zorblax squelches, projecting images of humans hoarding toilet paper during the pandemic. They're clearly unstable. We can't let them spread their chaos across the galaxy. Grook nods, his eyes narrowing, and they reproduce like rabbits. If we don't act now, we'll have entire fleets of these, humans invading our peaceful worlds. Meanwhile, on Earth, a ragtag group of scientists, conspiracy theorists, and an overly enthusiastic cat named Whiskers were trying to figure out why aliens were suddenly avoiding Earth like it was a bad Tinder date. Dr. Emily Carter, a virologist with a penchant for sarcasm, stood in front of her team. "All right, folks, it seems we've been labeled as the universe's bacteria," she said, arms crossed. "What do we do? Send a postcard saying, 'Wish you were here'?" Her colleague Tom, a self-proclaimed UFO expert, chimed in. "Maybe we should throw a party. Invite them over for some good old-fashioned human hospitality?" Emily rolled her eyes. "Yeah, because nothing says welcome like a room full of awkward small talk and a potato salad," but deep down, they knew they had to act. The fate of humanity rested on their shoulders, or rather, on the shoulders of their ridiculous ideas, so they decided to send a message to the Galactic Council inviting them to a peace summit on Earth. The day of the summit arrived and Earth was buzzing with excitement, or was it anxiety? The streets were filled with people wearing T-shirts that read, "We're not bacteria," and "Humans Unite." Meanwhile, Emily and her team prepared for the arrival of their extraterrestrial guests. As the alien ships descended, they looked like oversized jelly beans with flashing lights. The crowd gasped. The beings emerged, and it was clear they weren't what anyone expected. Zorblax jiggled as he floated, while Grook lumbered forward, nearly stepping on a hot dog stand. "Greetings, Earthlings," Zorblax boomed. "We come in peace and snacks." The crowd erupted into laughter. It was hard to take these beings seriously when they offered chips shaped like stars, but then Grook cleared his throat and the atmosphere shifted. "We are here to discuss your dangerous tendencies," he said, eyeing the crowd suspiciously. "Your planet is a breeding ground for chaos." Emily stepped forward, her heart racing. "You think we're dangerous? Have you seen our reality TV shows? We're practically harmless." Zorblax tilted his gelatinous head. "What do you mean?" "Let me show you." Emily gestured to a large screen where clips of humans arguing over trivial matters played. The aliens watched, bewildered, as one clip showed a man passionately debating whether pineapple belonged on pizza. The aliens burst into laughter, their bodies shaking. "Is this what you call conflict?" Grook asked, still chuckling. "We face intergalactic wars." Tom jumped in. "Exactly! We're not that scary. We just have a lot of opinions and occasionally binge-watch terrible shows." After hours of discussion, laughter, and surprisingly tasty snacks, the mood shifted. The aliens began to see humans not as a threat, but as quirky companions. Zorblax proposed a new alliance, an intergalactic comedy festival where humans could showcase their humor and creativity. The resolution was simple yet profound. Instead of fear, they would embrace understanding. Earth would no longer be seen as a dangerous species, but as a source of entertainment. The aliens agreed to lift the ban on Earth, and soon the planet became the go-to destination for interstellar tourism. As the summit concluded, Emily looked around at her team, who were now dancing with aliens, sharing jokes, and bonding over the universal language of laughter. Who knew saving humanity would involve so much fun? She mused. From that day forward, Earth was no longer just a planet marked by disease. It became known as the Cosmic Comedy Club, where humans and aliens alike could gather, share stories, and celebrate their differences. And as for Whiskers, the cat, he became an intergalactic celebrity known for his ability to nap through any crisis, proving once again that sometimes the simplest solutions come from the most unexpected places. So, next time you look up at the stars, remember, the universe may have once seen us as dangerous, but in the end, we taught them that laughter truly is the best medicine. As the Cosmic Comedy Club flourished, Earth became a hub of intergalactic interaction. Aliens flocked to our planet, eager to experience the peculiarities of human life. The streets were filled with colorful banners, welcoming visitors from all corners of the universe, and the air buzzed with excitement. Emily and her team took it upon themselves to curate the first ever Intergalactic Comedy Festival. They invited comedians from every corner of Earth, stand-up legends, improv troupes, and even internet meme creators. The festival was set to be held in the heart of New York City, transformed into a dazzling venue that could accommodate beings of all shapes and sizes. "All right, people," Emily announced during a planning meeting, "we need to make sure our humor translates across species. No one wants to hear a joke about traffic jams if they don't even have cars." Tom raised his hand. "What about a Lost in Translation segment? We can have aliens try to tell human jokes while we attempt to explain their humor." The room erupted in laughter at the thought of Grook attempting to understand the concept of a dad joke. As preparations ramped up, so did the anticipation. The festival promised to be a spectacle unlike anything the universe had ever seen. On the day of the festival, the city pulsed with energy. Stages were set up in parks, on rooftops, and even floating above the skyline. Humans and aliens mingled, sharing food, stories, and, of course, jokes. A giant banner read, "Welcome to Earth, laughs for light years." As the opening act took the stage, a famous human comedian named Jake stepped up to the mic. He looked out at the sea of faces, some with tentacles, others with multiple eyes, and grinned. "So, what's the deal with intergalactic travel? I mean, do you really need a boarding pass when you can just teleport?" The crowd erupted in laughter, and the sound echoed through the streets. Jake continued, riffing on the absurdity of alien cultures and the challenges of understanding each other. His jokes transcended language barriers, drawing everyone into a shared experience of joy. Meanwhile, Zorblax was having the time of his life. He discovered the joys of human snacks, especially nachos. With each cheesy bite, he'd let out a squelchy laugh that resonated with the audience. "These are fantastic. Who knew humans could create such delightful, what do you call them, chips?" As the festival progressed, the comedic performances became increasingly interactive. In one memorable moment, Grook found himself on stage attempting to tell a joke about rocks, a subject he was particularly passionate about. "What did the rock say to the other rock?" he boomed, his voice shaking the ground beneath him. "Nothing. Rocks don't talk." The audience roared with laughter, not because the joke was funny, but because Grook's earnestness was endearing. It was a beautiful reminder that humor could come from anywhere, even the most unexpected places. But amidst the laughter, an unforeseen conflict began to brew. Not all aliens were thrilled about the newfound friendship between humans and the rest of the galaxy. A faction known as the purists believed that Earth's chaotic nature posed a threat to cosmic order. They plotted to sabotage the festival, convinced that if they could sow discord, they could reclaim their narrative of fear surrounding humanity. As the final night of the festival approached, Emily and her team received word of the impending sabotage. They gathered in a huddle, anxiety rippling through the group. "We can't let this happen," Emily said, determination lighting her eyes. "This festival is more than just jokes. It's a symbol of unity." Tom suggested, "What if we turn the tables? Let's invite the purists to join us on stage. If they see how much fun we're having, maybe they'll change their minds." It was a risky plan, but they had little choice. So, with the help of Zorblax and Grook, they reached out to the purists, inviting them to share their perspective in front of the audience. On the night of the grand finale, the stage was set and the atmosphere crackled with anticipation. As the purists arrived, they were met with a mix of skepticism and curiosity. The crowd watched closely, unsure of what would unfold. Grook stood tall beside the purist leader, a stern-looking creature named Xylar. "Welcome, Xylar. Why don't you share your thoughts with us?" Grook encouraged, trying to break the ice. Xylar hesitated, glancing at the crowd. I believe humans are dangerous. Your chaos disrupts the balance of the universe." Emily stepped forward, her voice steady. "And yet, look around you. We've created something beautiful here. Humor connects us. It breaks down walls and builds bridges." The crowd murmured in agreement, and Emily continued, "Why not join us, share a joke? Let's show everyone that even our differences can lead to laughter." After a moment of contemplation, Xylar reluctantly agreed. "Very well, but I warn you, my humor is different." With a deep breath, Xylar launched into a joke about intergalactic diplomacy that was so dry it made the audience gasp in surprise. But then, unexpectedly, the punchline hit and laughter erupted. The purists couldn't help but chuckle at the absurdity of their own seriousness. As the night wore on, the tension dissolved, replaced by camaraderie. The purists realized that perhaps they had misjudged humanity. Laughter filled the air, echoing across the city, uniting everyone in a shared experience of joy. By the end of the festival, the purists were no longer adversaries but allies. They embraced the idea that differences could be celebrated rather than feared. Emily and her team had not only saved the festival, but had also opened the door to a new era of intergalactic relationships. As the stars twinkled overhead, the Cosmic Comedy Club became a permanent fixture in the universe where laughter reigned supreme. Earth was no longer just a place marked by disease. It had transformed into a beacon of hope, creativity, and connection. And so, as humans and aliens alike reveled in their newfound friendship, they proved that even in the vastness of space, laughter truly knows no bounds. From that day forward, whenever someone looked up at the stars, they remembered that sometimes the best way to bridge the gap between worlds is simply to share a good laugh.